Now, guys, today we are starting with the measurement of national income, the last chapter of national income, in which we have numericals, right? Okay, though there are eight aggregates of national income, however, the World Bank, for comparison of incomes of two or more countries, considers only NNP at FC as national income. I hope you all have got me, guys. So, though there are eight aggregates of national income, but the World Bank, for comparison purpose, considers only NNP at FC as national income. It means there's in exam, if you are asked to calculate national income, you have to calculate NNP at factor cost. I hope you have understood me.
Yes, sir.
Right. Why it is so, guys? Because here we have first and that is net without depreciation. Now, depreciation on capital assets in different countries are different because of different climate conditions, different technology, different way of using the capital asset. And that is why depreciation of each country is different from the other. National income of a country should not be more or less than the other country, but they should be measured on the same platform with the same parameters, and that is why to avoid depreciation, World Bank takes net, that is without depreciation. I hope you have understood me. Then here we have second N, that is national. Instead of domestic income, national income is considered as part of national income by the World Bank because domestic income comes from domestic territory only, whereas national income is domestic income from domestic territory plus income earned from abroad. Now, some countries are poor in terms of technology and natural resources. Some other countries are poor in terms of human resources. To avoid that, instead of calculating national income with only with domestic territory, the World Bank has taken it at national level. That is domestic income plus factor income from abroad. So if your country is poor, in case you do not have technology, you do not have good natural resources, still you can earn from other countries. And that is the purpose why they have considered national instead of domestic. Have you got me what I said? I'm asking guys, have you all understood?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
why factor cost and not market price? Because in market price, you know that indirect taxes are available, are included, and indirect tax in different countries are at different rates. So the country who is charging more indirect tax will certainly have more national income. And to avoid that, the World Bank takes it at only at factor cost and not at market price. Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why is national income measured or purposes of measuring NI, that is national income? Let's understand this first, guys. So there are three main reasons why national income of a country is measured, the first one is to check the growth and development of economy of that country. So to determine economic growth and development, this is the very first reason. Economic growth is, guys, growth in your overall production of goods and services. So when national income of a country rises in a year as compared to the previous year, we call it economic growth. But when growth is consistent, every year your national income is increasing, it means every year you are producing more than the previous year, then we call it economic development. And one must know obviously whether his income is increasing or declining. And that is the reason why national income of a country is measured. Have you got me or not, guys? It is as good as assigning or awarding marks to students in their exam. So without awarding or without evaluation of a student's performance, one cannot say whether a student is really doing well or he or she is at the same level as he or she was earlier. The same way to check whether economy is really growing and developing or not, national income of that economy is measured every year. I hope you have got me. I'm asking guys, have you understood this or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Increase in income of a country in a year as against the previous year is called economic growth. When growth is consistent over years, it is called economic development. Until we know whether an economy is growing or not, we cannot talk about its performance, nor can decide its future. Have you got this, guys, or not? Understood this?
Yes, sir.
So note down this, guys, all. First point. So, guys, have you all noted down this? The second reason, guys, is to compare an economy with those of others. Now, guys, we do not measure national income of a country only for our own internal purpose, but we also measure national income of our country so that we could compare it with others. especially with those economies who are similar to us. Like China is very similar to Indian economy, and that is why comparison of Indian economy is always done with China. Now, why do we do compare? We compare so that we could know how we have an edge over the other economy or what edges they have over us. How are they doing better than us, or how or where we are lacking? And with that, we can learn from others, we can adapt to others, and we can also grow. And that is why comparison becomes important. Are you getting my point? Yeah. So until you compare your economy with others, you will remain aloof and may not grow because you learn from others, right? I hope you have got me. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So what I explained, guys, I've already noted down. I've already written down this here. Now you first see the third point and then you start noting both the points together. The third point is to know sectoral changes. You know that an economy can be divided into three sectors, that is primary, secondary, and tertiary sector. Right? Primary is the one that we where production is done right from the nature, from land. So forestry, farming, fishing, mining, they are part of primary sector. Secondary sector is about man-made goods, which are made either with labor or with labor and machines. That is secondary sector. That is manufacturing sector. And tertiary sector is service sector. Right? Now, economy over years shifts from one sector to another as far as national income that is production of goods and services of that economy is concerned. So does every year we have same amount of production from these three sectors? No, it is not so. It keeps changing. And when production in a sector increases, expands than any of the previous year, it actually means that that sector is giving more employment this year as compared to the previous year. Because with rise in production, opportunities for employment also rises. I hope you are understanding this, guys. And that is why knowing sectoral changes within an economy is also very important, which we cannot do without measurement of national income. I hope you have understood this. Yes or no?
So,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Now, unless we know, guys, these sectoral changes or output by these sectors, we means the government cannot make macroeconomic policies on employment, on control over prices, right? On poverty, on how to manage huge population as we have in our economy, and so on. And for that purpose, so that government could make right macroeconomic policies for the welfare of all, we need to know the data of national income, not only of the whole country, but sector-wise national income. I hope you have understood me, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, yeah, Mansha.
So, what are the changes that comes from the three sectors? Like, what are the output, the changes?
Yeah, I explained that once I make this example here, you will understand it, right?
Yes, sir.
Look at here, guys. Let's say an economy in the year 2020 has produced a national income of 1,000 crores. Means monetary value of all the goods and services produced by that economy in 2020 is rupees 1,000 crores. Out of that, 500 crores production was from primary sector, 300 was from secondary sector, and 200 crores was from tertiary sector. It means contribution of primary sector was 50%, here 30%, and here 20%. In the year 2021, there is no change in national income of the economy. However, there is sectoral changes. Primary sector could contribute only 30%, whereas secondary sector contributed 40% and tertiary sector contributed 40%. It means there is decline in the output of primary sector. Now, looking at this only, government can make policies. Why? Because in India, still most of the population, which is very huge, is absorbed by primary sector. It cannot be absorbed by secondary sector. Why? Because for being absorbed in secondary sector, you need to be little qualified. And if you want to get yourself absorbed in tertiary sector, you should be highly qualified. Highly qualified means qualifications plus skills. So those who can work on farms, they all cannot work in factories. Forget about working with banks, insurance companies, software companies, into teaching, into advocacy, and other professions. So this may bother the government because because of fallen output from 50% to 30%, many people have got unemployed in the year 2021, and they all could not be absorbed here. Though here output has increased, but you know that output in manufacturing sector can also be increased by employing more machines instead of labor. When you have semi-automated and fully automated machines in your factories, you do not require much labor. And here, otherwise, we require very less people. Tertiary sector contributes least in employment. In developed countries, on the other hand, guys, most of the people are employed in secondary sector because secondary sector is the one that gives maximum employment, provided we do not have much automation and robotics there. And that is the reason, guys, why in developed countries production is high. The reason for that is they have less population. So with less population, they are dependent to produce more through machines. They cannot be dependent on labor. But in India, the story is different. If we produce everything through machines, what our huge population would be doing? They all will become unemployed, and with that, there would be social chaos in the economy. Everywhere there would be quarrels, there would be riots, because people do not have job with them. Have you got me or not, guys? I'm asking all.
Yes, sir. Yes,
सर
sir.
1 में 110% हो रहा है टोटल.
किसका? 40, 40 and 30. Oh, okay. It should be, it is. Now it's correct, right? Athav?
Yes, sir.
But guys, I hope you all have understood the idea. Mancha, have you understood this now?
Yes, sir.
Good. So
Sir,
guys,
but how does the output change? Like, will they produce a little bit or like that?
yeah, for that there may be many reasons, but for primary sector, especially in India, the main reason is monsoon. Because we are highly dependent on monsoon even after 70 years of our independence, our freedom. Right? Means there is still too much of dearth of irrigation facilities. Though we do not have any dearth of any scarcity of water. We have lot many rivers, but government failed to give irrigation facilities in every nook and corner of our country. The other reason is that primary sector production in primary sector, whether it is fishing or agriculture or forestry, they could never fetch good prices. If you see the prices of vegetables every year, if you notice, there is hardly any change. Because of that, farmers do not earn much, and this makes them discouraged, and they actually give up their agriculture profession, and they try to shift towards some other occupation. They do not want to continue. Most of the farmers in India do not want to continue with farming. They do not want their next generation to continue with farming because they know that how much they have to sacrifice in farming, yet there is no assurance of output. Am I clear? Sometimes soil quality may be bad, sometimes irrigation is not there, sometimes you do not get pesticide and seeds, you do not have machines with you to harvest. I'm talking about most of small farmers, those who have very small pieces of land. I'm not talking about jamindars who do not do farming themselves, but they get it done from tillers, from laborers. I hope you understood this.
Yes, sir.
So, since there is no assurance of profit and output in farming, that is why most of the people have or are trying to leave that occupation. But unfortunately, they do not have anything else in their hands. They are not educated enough. They have certificates, they have degrees. They are sending their children to urban areas for education. And because of that, you all must have seen in your cities that urbanization is increasing too much. In every city, many people are coming from remote, from backward, from countryside. But what happens with them? They just get certificates and degrees. Since they do not have good knowledge, they ultimately have to go back to their villages or their small towns. By the time they go back, they neither have land with them. Why? Because their forefathers and fathers have lost that land to repay their loan. And ultimately, they again come back to urban areas and do very nominal jobs. Have you got me, guys, or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I hope you all have understood, guys. With this discussion, I have tried to give many messages to you people, guys, who still have good opportunity to learn, to develop good skills so that you could do well in your lives. Otherwise, you will have only pieces of documents in form of certificates with you, which many people already have got. You are not the first who are going to get 12th class certificate. You would not be the first doing MBA or any other professional course. There are many who are roaming around in the world without any jobs. The only reason for that is that they do not have knowledge and skill. They have only certificates with them. Okay. So you can start noting this down, guys, from here, from point number two. So, guys, about this table, I have written it here. You can understand it well. This is sectoral, guys. Sectoral changes in economy. This one.